Today's Saturday opinion piece is going to be on rents and where rents are going. I have several different articles here that show you what the future of rents are and why they're so important to the CPI and that number that comes out every single month. Hello everyone and welcome to Real Estate Daily. My name is Troy and on Saturdays we go over our opinion piece. Today we're going over those rents and let's jump right into it. This was from yesterday. It's Yahoo News, says 60% of renters saw rent increases in the past 12 months, Freddie Mac survey shows. Well, actually, I think it's much bigger than that, but we're going to get into that in a minute. What is the average that we're seeing go, rents year to year? Let's call from July 2021 to July 2022. Well, the lowest, of course, is the Fed coming out with their CPI number this week. They said in a survey, and that's how they decide how much they go up. They said in a survey it was 5.7%, ticking up from 5.6% from the month before. Now, I'm questioning this because if you really look at how much weight is on the housing industry in that CPI number, it's huge. It's the largest point. And they're doing that not off of real numbers, they're doing it off of surveys. And I'm going to show you today in my next graph why this is bullshit. Right? Complete bullshit, because the surveys are not coming in where they should be for one reason, and I'm going to go over that one reason here in a minute. But more importantly, the 60% of people that did see those rent increases, I just talked about the Fed being 5.7, apartments.com came out and they said year over year was 8.6. So they're up 8.6 that they're saying, and they see real numbers because they're on there for people who are landlords that are posting and of course renters that are renting. So 8.6. I've seen surveys as high as 12% year over year. I know that in certain cities and certain areas, they're absolutely much greater than that. But we'll dive into that right now into our graph here. Now, this graph is from apartments.com. It came out a couple weeks ago. It's year over year rent growth by market, July 2022. They got this out pretty quick, didn't they? Now, what I see here is a tale of two different stories. What are those two stories? One is areas in which rent control is in. And a lot of those places where rent control is in, they have not allowed landlords to raise the rents for over 3 years. So if I surveyed renters out in the city of Los Angeles, for an example, they have not allowed any landlord or investor to raise rents since prior to April 2020, March 2020, which the flu came in. I'll use that word. I don't want to get this banned, but because of that, the state came in and all the states came in and said, okay, we don't have to pay rent. If you want to, you want to. Otherwise, we have programs in which we're going to pay back those landlords. Or if you didn't talk to those programs, you just simply didn't pay and they couldn't evict you for at least a year and a half to 2 years, which was last year. Then when they started releasing and they were going, being able to then collect rents directly and the programs were all gone, which actually most of them ended this year, by the way, they put a freeze on raising rents. And so because of that, you saw that freeze. Now let's go look at the bottom, the second column here at the bottom. And almost all of these are cities in which you can't raise rents whatsoever. So you're just having outlying suburbs that didn't participate in that are raising rent. So Minneapolis, San Francisco, New York City, Baltimore, LA, Chicago, Cleveland. Look at all these major metropolitan areas. Sorry, investor, you're not able to raise your rents and make up for the inflation that we caused, right? Makes no sense whatsoever, but this is what's happening. Let's see what reality is on the right-hand side of the first column. We're looking at it. San Antonio up 8.8, Las Vegas 9.3, Inland Empire here, which is San Bernardino and Riverside counties, it's up 9%. You're telling me that little old LA is at 6%, but Inland Empire's at 9%? Well, we know because that's rent control and they won't allow anyone in the city or around the city to raise rents. You have to go outside of the city in the suburbs to see rents going up. Cincinnati, Austin, San Jose, Dallas, Fort Worth, Indianapolis, Tampa, Raleigh, San Diego's up 12.4%. Check that out. Another county here in LA or in California. Salt Lake City, Nashville, Palm Beach, Charlotte, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Orlando. Orlando's up 16.2%. Now, looking at this, it's kind of interesting. If I'm a renter and I'm on the sideline and I want to buy a home, where do I really want to buy homes? Where are people migrating to? Well, they're migrating to Utah, Florida, Texas. Those are you're probably Nevada as well, Arizona, these areas here. If we really look at it, those are mostly everything that's on the first column. Why? Because those are open states in which they allow open trade to happen, meaning that, hey, if you can get more for rent, you get more for rent. You're not being restricted. But everything pretty much on the right side is pretty much all restrictions. You're looking at specific cities and specific states. It's just not good. So anyone that's on the left-hand side is looking to buy a home, right? If they're raising rents 10% a year, well, why am I not buying a home? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to pay someone else's mortgage, and if they bought the house a while ago, not only going to pay their mortgage, they're making a lot of profit off me. Everyone on the right-hand side is saying, well, I mean, going up 3 or 6%, that isn't a lot. I mean, it can be a lot for some people, but I can see people hold off not buying homes and not looking at saving just because of that, and that hurts them, and that keeps them as renters. I've always said, a lot of people need to have a little bit of motivation when they want to buy a home. How do we buy homes? It's because we put hard work together and we put a few dollars together. We will say this. I work with a good mortgage lender, a good friend of mine. He's Min Nguyen. He's on What's a Mortgage on his channel. And he has given me several buyers every single year, probably a handful, 5, 10 maybe, that are on 100% financing, meaning they're on, FHA, CalHFA, which actually pays your entire down payment. So it's 100% financing. And if you qualify, they'll also pay your closing costs. So it comes down to two things at that point. It comes down to good income, low debt. Those are two things, and a good FICO score. If you can provide that, okay, and that doesn't cost you anything to do unless you're burning out your credit cards left and right, then you can possibly qualify for a home, possibly qualify. Something you want to think about, first-time home buyers, this is a very popular program. No money down. I have gotten a lot of people into that. In fact, some of the people that have made the most money when they turned around and sold their homes, walked in with no money and then turned around. I have a client that I just closed their house. They 2.5 years later walked away with $100,000 net in their pocket, and over when they bought the home at no money down to when they sold their home. So just a thought. I need you guys to think about, how do I get out of that rental rat race? And what is a good time to buy? The good time to buy is right now. It's to get out of these rents going up. If you look at it, let's get outside of the bottom 10 here. You're almost paying 0.75% a year to up to the top here, over 1%, not per year, I'm sorry, per month, rents going up. Think about that, 1% a month, rents are going up. That's almost the average for the United States right now. I don't see it changing whatsoever. I don't see prices going down, in the near term here in the real estate market. I know that we went through a little bit of a bumpy road back in June and July, but the buyers are back. They're buying homes and there's multiple offers on properties. Keep that in mind when you're out there and you're renting. It's just not going to get better for you. It's not inflationary. It's just going to be something where you're going to continue to be hurt until you can't afford it, because there's always going to be somebody out there that has the money that's going to rent and pay higher rents right now. And we're seeing it as we see year over year rents go through the roof. Guys, if you have any comments, please leave them below. I'm more than happy to go over it. Check out our other channels. We have an Instagram channel, Instagram. We also have Twitter. Check us out on Twitter, as well as our TikTok channel. we're more than happy to answer any questions. Or if you want to see tips and tricks about homes, or what we see out there that's comical, or informational, educational information about how to look for homes, and when you look for a home, what are the 5 things you really want to look for every single home, that's a very, very important video that we go over with you. Otherwise, guys, have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. You take care, and I will see you Monday.